What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. Super excited about today because we're covering one of my favorite characters. We're jumping into the Magik solo series. This is going to be issues 1 through 5. And I will say that if you're not necessarily a huge fan of Magik, if you've never really dived into her character, this is a great place to start. Now, there's obviously context that you're gonna miss out on. After the island nation of Krakoa was a safe haven for all mutants, we've seen that mutant kind has gone in different directions. We've seen them form teams all over the United States. One of them being in Alaska. That's where Magik is. Teaming up with Cyclops and his X-Men team, we are taken to Alaska, but we're not taken to Magik. We pick up with a young girl by the name of Moni. Now, Moni, we see her running through the streets. She's panting, she's terrified, and she's calling out to somebody by the name of Red. She's calling out to anybody that might be able to help her. With Moni being dragged off, this is where we are taken to Magik. And we kind of get a small little brief overview here. We all know the story of Magik. Kidnapped as a kid, taken to Limbo. The demon named Belasco was more or less her mentor. He had seen her potential, and so he hungered to influence her power, planting a seed in her very soul. He forced it to grow. The day she escaped, she became something new, something better, joining the New Mutants, becoming an X-Men. She won her battles, and she buried them deep. But even sitting here with Colossus, they have to ask, will you do the same with Krakoa? What will you do with Darkchild? And for those that don't really understand, Darkchild is like the split personality of Magik. It is the Limbo side of her. And we've seen this side come out and just wreak havoc. Magik has done a really good job of keeping Darkchild in check. That is, until now. That's what takes us over to the factory. We pick up with the X-Men HQ and Magik waking up from her dream. Darkchild has been haunting her. In Krakoa, Darkchild was relatively quiet. Belasco's influence, really a distant memory for her. But her belief that she had control over this, that's long gone. Because this is the third dream this week. The same dream, the same mistake, the same ending. You know, Limbo forged her into something stronger, but she always wonders what was the cost? What wires got crossed in the name of evolution? But as she gets dressed, she heads into the main common area. This is where she runs into the entire X-Men team, throwing a surprise party. Magik has turned 25 years old. And while everybody, they want her to stay, they want her to enjoy the party, they want her to have some fun. After her nightmare, everything going on with her, she says that there's work to be done with mutants or kids disappearing in Juno. So as she opens up a portal, she hightails it out of here. The way Cyclops sees it, this is definitely not the first time that she's gone solo mission. It's definitely not going to be the last time. Let her go, let her do her thing. We'll be here when she needs us. This is what picks us up inside of a funeral home. This is the viewing of the young girl Moni. They never found her body, but they all presumed that she was dead. And so they tried to have a funeral. But while they have this funeral, on the outside, people are protesting. They're protesting mutants. They believe that the mutants, they brought something here. They brought a monster to the town. The fear is at an all-time high. This is where we have Magik teleporting in. Obviously, these anti-mutant protesters, they're not happy to see Magik here. These guys are honestly getting ready to fight. Had demons not appeared behind them, this would have gone completely different. But these aren't demons of Limbo. These aren't demons that Magik manifested. And so Magik pulls out her soul sword, and she begins target practice. Amidst all the chaos, one thing that we can recognize, these demons are attacking the mutants. But they're not trying to kill them, they're trying to kidnap them. When a Mr. Carter sees this, he grabs Ren, a mutant girl that was at the funeral, and he throws her to the ground. With a portal opening up, the demon grabs the young girl, and Magik, she charges in, soul sword piercing the demon. But they land on the other side of this portal, and what they find is definitely not what she had expected. A man standing on a magical seal, pistol in hand, and he tells Magik that I only need one more mutant to break my seal. And unfortunate for Magik, she's the one standing right in front of him. With him shooting, we see it pierce her arm, the bullet going right through. Magik excited for a little bit of a challenge. Using magic on her arm, closing up the wound, she charges in. But this guy, he shoots a bunch of magical bullets, and it just riddles her. It drops Magik down to the ground. She obviously had no idea what she was up against. But coming through that portal, we have the grandma and a young kid named Cal. Cal has no idea what the hell is going on, but Grandma knows what's up. She says that they need to strengthen the seals. If any more energy is sacrificed, an individual by the name of Liminal, he will escape. That if the girl is here, that means two prophecies are colliding. Neither can be fulfilled. We learned that centuries ago, their ancestors placed 5 seals to trap this entity wherever it is. If all 5 break, his chaos will be released onto the world. And Cal at this point, he's never heard any of this. So he's like, what the hell are you talking about, Grandma? Like, what's going on here? But seeing that Magik is rather interesting, this entity that is in the seal, it takes its opportunity to go after the young girl Ren, while she tries to use her mutant power, appearing to be some kind of shrieking or supersonic voice. It doesn't work. And this monster, it grabs her face and it crushes her. With Magik seeing this, even Darkchild's like, you gotta let me out. You are holding back and you let that poor girl die. Who else are you gonna let die? Magik getting up to her feet, and she charges in with her soul sword. As she slashes, Grandma is working as fast as she can to try and strengthen these spells. She apologizes to Cal, but she warns not to trust Darkchild. This whole time, Magik has been swinging away with her soul sword, but when Grandma tells her that you are also a mage, kinda clicks in her head, is like, you know what, she's right, I am not just a brute. Saying silence, we see the bullet stop, removes verbal components to the spells, neutralizes her threat in front of her. In a last Hail Mary pass, this monster pulls up his gun, and he shoots Grandma. He puts 3 into her back, saying that her family, their runes, their ancestry is the whole reason that he is imprisoned. That ends today. Today the first seal breaks. Today, his master's spread will continue, with Magik grabbing Kel and teleporting out of here. Magik does everything she can to hold back the corruption. This dark magic is spilling into the real world, and so Magik is holding up a barrier to try to keep it in check. But to hold this seal is gonna diminish her. It's going to cost her. And so she needs to find this individual, this liminal, this entity, and she needs to destroy it before it destroys the barriers. And when Magik turns to Cal, at this point, Cal's lost everything. His grandmother explained nothing but left notebooks behind. Things for him to decipher. A new world to figure out. A society that she belonged to. One thing he does know. He won't be safe until that thing is destroyed. It hates his family. And it appears his family is the only thing standing between it and its utter destruction. And with this entity now seeing what Darkchild is, Magik has piqued its interest. As we hop over to issue number 2, we are taken over to Tokyo, Japan. This is where the next seal is, though they're not necessarily sure where it is. This is where all the evidence has brought them. And as Magik looks at Cal, she can't help but wonder and think to herself, like, this kid, he wants to throw himself fully into adulthood, a world that he's simply not ready for. Add in the fact that he doesn't trust me, and how could you blame him? Darkchild, her darker self, it simmers right underneath her skin. It waits for the opportunity to break free. While they sit here and go over the notes, we have a waitress that comes up and more or less invites Magik to a concert going on this evening. And while Magik doesn't necessarily have any interest in this, people have been disappearing here. It's all been happening roughly around this area. And so Magik thinks maybe we will go check it out. As we pick up a couple hours later, we pick up at this concert. A band by the name of The Shroud has gone up. But when they look at who's playing, who's on lead guitar, this individual is Ren, the same one that entity had killed. But they're looking at her, flesh and blood, sitting on stage. After the first strum, Magik knows that there is something more here. That is definitely not Ren. Could be a possession. It could be a mimic. Whatever it is, it appears to be amplifying powers. With some portals opening up, the demons flood in. If this wasn't enough, whatever this is, it's affecting Magik's powers. It's affecting her portals. She finds herself off balance and unable to manifest her stepping discs. And yet again in this place, mutants are being targeted, not humans, and she is yet to really understand why. Looking into the soul of Ren, this is where she sees the darkness. This is where she sees something is staring back at her. She knows now that there is nothing of Ren, nothing but a small flame powering a vessel for something much larger. All these demons, they were once mutants. Something took them, something changed them, and when this demon Ren strums the guitar again, Magik is frozen in place, unable to move. And she thinks that these deaths, they will all be on me. I chose to save one instead of many. And this demon, it tells her that Liminal, he is honored that you are following his demons around. It's almost like you want to watch what's going on. Nonetheless, he finds you fascinating. Frozen in place, Darkchild's power seems to be free. And stuck here, she can't remember why she would resist. Why she would resist becoming so limitless. The ability to destroy everything. And so when Darkchild does come out, we see that soul sword swinging, killing demons left and right and going to take on Rin. We see the arms of Limbo. They come up and they start grabbing all the demons. But being able to tamper her anger, seeing the fear in everybody's eyes, she's barely able to cap her rage. Telling Cal that I'm sorry whatever happened to your friend, but I promise that we will destroy whatever transformed her. This is when Magik charges in and she obliterates whatever this demon was. And Cal coming up to her, thanking her, saying, you know, of course I was terrified of you, but I bet those demons were as well. Maybe you never wanted that other form, but this place would have been a lot worse had you not been here. Had you not had Darkchild in you. Only you could have done that. Monster and all. And Magik, she's always been pretty hard on herself. That's because she's always had to be ready for the next threat. And as she says these words, a portal opens up beneath her feet. She falls down to the depths, and she finds herself directly before Liminal. And this entity, it tells Magik that you and I, we're about to do great things together. This is what hops us over to issue 3. This is where we get to learn who this guy is. Now, Magik has been on the run for 3 weeks, or at least that's what it seems like to her. She has been on the run evading him this entire time. Any construct this guy is able to create, she is sliced down. But he tells her that I'm not trying to fight you. If I wanted to, this would be over already. I've been trying to talk to you. This is where we see Kat, Limbo's version of Kitty Pryde, the one that had helped her rebel against Belasco. While she fights, he tells her, like, you're an open book. You're one I understand. I also understand your mistakes. You've peered into my head, but I've also peered into yours. The two of us, we've made a connection. And she tries to ignore him. But after weeks of being here, after dealing with manifestation after manifestation, she tells him that if you know me so well, you know I hate being trapped. Wondering why she's being so combative. Telling her, like, if you would just talk to me, if we would sit down and have a discussion, it wouldn't have to be all this craziness. And here in his domain, she's relatively powerless. She lacks the power to change her situation, or at least she refuses to tap into it. Of course, he's referring to Darkchild. As she is able to make her getaway, he tells her that I've seen you. I know you. I know your biggest fears. This is when he takes the form of Belasco, the demon who had dragged her to hell. Just a word in his voice, and it feels like she never left Limbo. But she also knows she's not a child anymore. She doesn't tolerate threats anymore. This is where we see a seal form underneath him, and she tells him, while you might control this domain, you are not omniscient. Her power may be weak, but she can still manage basic spells, binding his consciousness to a single form. This prevents his means of escape. And now Magik, she's on the attack. As she takes her soul sword and she goes to slash, he must admit that she continues to impress him, that he knew she would be worthy. And while he adores these fun little games, we see them transported, him sitting on his throne and her falling before him. He tells her that I think there's been a misunderstanding here. The way she is seeing it, there is no misunderstanding. She has come for revenge for all the murdered mutants. He tells her, again, you misunderstand, that they are still alive, that they are well and they're resting as dolls in my domain, that they're happy and blank, ready to serve his will. And though she refuses to believe this, he tells her, I have no intention of killing you. You are a gift. You're a gift I intend to collect. He tries to tell her that you are purposely misinterpreting my words. When she is finally able to make a blow on him, we see his magic spill out. He shouts, enough. And he tells her, like, I never wanted you to see me like this, and I'll try to control myself. But it appears we're at an impasse. You want to leave and I want you to stay. And I'm a reasonable man, but I can't let you go out into the world, continuing to destroy my prison seals. I have slumbered for centuries, but the speed of modern life, this is what woke him up. He has been watching Magik, at first annoyed, but then seeing the similarities, and now impressed, even more impressed. And he goes on to give us his backstory. A tragic tale to tell. A young boy sacrificed by mages. They did so in an effort to increase their own power. But this was his genesis. This was his evolution. It backfired on the mage and all that power went into the boy. And this boy, he effectively brought all life under his control. That is, until a society of mages bonded him. Different than the mages who created him, this society, they were just as cruel. And so he woke up in this realm alone in the dark. But as he grew, he became his prison and his prison became him. His magic intertwining with his domain. This is why Magik struggles to use her powers here. Just as if he had gone to limbo, his powers may not work as good either. And though in the past he has tried to seek out a way to get out of here, human DNA was not enough to break the seals. But mutant DNA, that proves to be much more useful. What he is offering Magik as a spot by his side. He doesn't want to be alone, and that together they could have an immense amount of power. They could rule over everything. They could make everything truly safe. While Magik completely understands his perspective, she can't condone his behavior. And so this is where he makes a deal with her. He tells her that this is all for you. I will give you your freedom, but it will come at a price. This is all for you, and I want you to be your true self. And so you need to take the chains off of Darkchild. This is how you get free. Take down your mental barriers. I won't force Darkchild to emerge. That if you really are in control like you say you are, if she isn't your true self, there should be nothing you're worried about. That this deal will last for 3 weeks. You stop me, I remove any trace left of Darkchild. And she knows that this is a bad deal, yet she still shakes his hand. Now Darkchild is more than excited to get out into the world, escape, and get some freedom. Magik being teleported out of here. She lands in Tokyo. Not sure what the hell's going on. She does some meditation and she finds Cal, opening up a portal to Ecuador. This is where she finds him. She immediately rushes in and she apologizes, saying that I've been gone for weeks. I don't know what's been going on. I don't know what's been happening, so on and so forth. But then he tells her, like, you've only been gone for 3 days. But in that time, so much has happened. Another seal was broken. They used your disappearance as a distraction, but he did find the next seal. He flew here to Ecuador immediately, and along the way, he found somebody that could help him out. Before they get too much further though, Magik wants to be honest with him, wants to let him know that I made a deal. I was forced to make a deal to get out of there. that the restraints on Darkchild, they have been released. Right now, we have 3 weeks to defeat him, and then after that, I'm fully lost to my darker self. Obviously, Cal is not happy about this, but she believes she had no other way. At this point, Cal's like, I don't think I can actually trust you now. My grandmother warned me about you. This is when they're interrupted by Danny Moonstar, aka Mirage. This is the person that has been helping Cal out. One of Magik's best friends, and probably the last person that she wants to see right now. This is what takes us over to issue number 4. Our heroes find themselves getting closer and closer to the seal in Ecuador. They can tell by the amount of demons that they find facing them, going up against them, trying to stop them. And while they're fighting, Danny tells her, we have to talk about this. And you might not be happy about it, but I'm entitled to my opinion about your deal with this monster. Why would you allow him to destroy your mental barriers? Only having 3 weeks to defeat him, that's not enough time. And it's not even that she doesn't trust Magik, she doesn't trust Darkchild. Tell her, like, you forget I've been here since the beginning. I've seen what that demon can do, what it does to you. And so Danny thinks that there had to have been another way. But the way that Magik sees it, there is no way in hell she would have stayed trapped. No way she would have stayed in that realm. She took her opportunity to escape. But she must admit that the guilt, it's building up in her stomach. Both for her treatment to Danny and for making the deal. She knows she's been unfair. But Danny tells her, like, you're purposely misinterpreting my words. That I love you, but you can't shut me up about this. But Magik tells her what she told Cyclops. I don't need a babysitter. And Danny says, like, I hate that you're even implying that Cyclops sent me. You really think I would be following the orders of Cyclops? And Magik knows that's not true. Instead, you'll leave your friends and go join a secret society. For those that don't know, Danny is part of the Society of the Eternal Dawn, a society that has existed for decades. And they're kind of the protectors of making sure an apocalypse doesn't happen. Though they are very picky on what they help and who they help. This is the same secret society that was able to trap Liminal in this domain. So she is here to stop this entity as well. And Danny says, the society isn't the best people in the world, but what if I had known about the fall of Krakoa before it happened? Maybe I would have been able to do something. With the Dawn, she believes she can make the most impact, helping people in her community, keeping them safe, using the knowledge to her advantage. Plus, their enchanted Peachwood, it amplifies her X gene. Dawn Piercer transforms her psionic arrows to repel demons. Now, as the two of them find themselves making it onto the ground, once they're on the ground, they're immediately met by more demons. And when Magik goes to use magic, some reason it doesn't work. Her powers are all over the place. Either they're too powerful or they're too weak. But in this moment, Danny is a hunter. She uses her arrows and she takes down those demons one by one. With her mutant ability, Danny creates illusions of her opponent's greatest fears, pairing them with the psionic arrows. She takes them down like they're nothing. As they get closer and closer to the seal, this is where they run into the same mages that had taken down Liminal back in the day, incorporated into his army, an eternal punishment of servitude for all of their wrongdoing. But here at this seal, they also have mutants, ready to spill their blood and break this seal. They were hoping that they might be remote enough that the generals wouldn't be able to find any mutant blood. Unfortunately, they found researchers. As they battle, we see that one of the mages is taken down, but not before mutant blood is spilt. When Magik goes to charge in, it's already too late. The seal was broken, and now she's beating herself up even more as her anger boils over. They have always ended up right back where they're at, stuck in the same pattern, faced with their real selves. She tells Danny that you were right not to trust me. But Moonstar, she tells her, like, you're faced with impossible situations all the time. Ones that are simply too much for you to handle. But you have made the best choices that you can. That I trust you, but ultimately, you need to trust yourself. As this seal begins to spill over, We see Magik come forth and try to conceal the corruption. With her Dark Child's power, she easily is able to ward this seal. Her magic sings. She thinks that I finally have control, but then Dark Child whispers in her ear, Danny being the only thing that is actually able to comfort her in this moment. Later that evening, we see Danny and Cal sitting down. The two of them talk about the secret society. They talk about everything that's been going on. Danny is telling Cal that I don't trust Dark Child. I have no clue how much influence it currently holds over Magik, and so I need you to watch her. That she is one of my oldest friends. That means I have seen her lose herself to Dark Child. Despite any of her best efforts, I've seen the consequences. I want to protect my friend, and so if I need to, I will plan ahead to do so. And though I would love to tell her all of this, she is too independent. She will misinterpret my intent. If she even heard me telling you this, she would never trust me again. And this is where, from the other room, we can see that Magik is listening in, heartbroken and feeling betrayed by her best friend. This is what's going to take us to issue number 5 and the end of the first story arc. We pick up at the Causeway Coast in Ireland. They have tracked it to this location, and this appears to be where the next seal is. But as they show up, Magik, she's immediately she's dismissive, she's rude, she's nonchalantly throwing ugly glances at them, more or less kind of wanting them to know that I know, without actually saying, I know. But as the mages for Liminal, they show up and they take a mutant. Danny and Magik, they chase after. And if Magik's being honest with herself, she doesn't mean to hold Danny or Cal's words against them. Dark Child is a threat. She knows this intimately. Yet, the distrust still hurts her feelings. It solidifies her greatest fears. Dark Child must be destroyed. But while they're fighting, at this point, Danny's like, if you got something to say, just say it already. But Magik says that they don't have time to be arguing over this. As they try to fight against these mages, the mutant that they had brought along, it simply wasn't enough. And so this is where Liminal sacrifices his mages as well, merging them together with the mutant. These 3 sacrifice is enough to open the seal up. From Alaska to Japan to Ecuador to here, all of these seals begin to break. And with that, the barriers that she had put into place, the wards that she had up, in her weakened state, Dark Child seizes an opportunity. She comes forth. But so does Liminal, as Liminal and his demons make their way into the waking world. With Magik charging in, refusing to be taken over, she takes her soul sword, size of a dagger currently, and she stabs her own leg with it. With Cal running up to try and stop all of this happening, letting Danny know that she heard us. And Danny's like, of course she did. I knew something was wrong with her. And this is where she tries to talk to her, tries to reach out to her, tries to let her know that Dark Child was terrifying. And yes, it scares me, but I'm your friend and I'm here to try and help you get past all of this. This is where we jump into the mind of Magik. Finally, Magik and Dark Child, they're face to face. And Magik, without hesitation, she just starts dropping blows on Dark Child's face, telling her, you destroyed my life, my second chance, that I have imprisoned you for years, shackled you to the deepest parts of my mind, that you leech off of me, that you are nothing more than corruption. You take away everything good in my life. But this is when Dark Child lets her know, is this really how you see me? After all of these years? Yeah, it's true, I was born in limbo, and you were not. For what purpose? Why was I created? I was a tool created to protect you, yet you choose to rather suppress me, not confront it. You don't allow me to shoulder the dark memories I should be holding. After all of these years, your mental barriers, they're fully down. And the one message that I have for you, I am you. And this is when finally, Magik understands that Dark Child isn't some evil demon inside of her trying to get free. Dark Child is her. It is her mechanism that defends her, that protects her. Yeah, it's a monster that has come out from time to time, and it has definitely gone overboard and hurt too many people. But it is all due to the suppression of it. Eventually, it's gonna boil over. It's gonna explode, and when it does explode, it's gonna be devastating. But if you let it out a little at a time. If you find a way to live with it instead of suppressing it, then you can finally be true. You can finally have your full potential. And this is where we see her emerge. Cal thinking that the Dark Child has been unleashed, but Danny knows that Magik has finally just reached her full potential. A lesson for Cal is that prophecies, they're always up for interpretation. And then facing against Liminal. Now this entity's like, I finally did it. I transformed you into your true self. And now you and I, we can rule together. But that's when Magik laughs in his face. Tells him like, Limbo is my home and I'm bonded to it. You don't think I did the same to Earth? Nah, like homie, you're in my domain. I am in full control of myself, of Darkchild, and I'm grateful for you for all of this. But this is my turf. And I'm not one for sharing, but she also cannot kill him. His domain is intertwined with Earth as well. If he perishes, the world will unravel, needing a more permanent solution. He had forged a connection with hers, which means it's probably not safe to just put him down in limbo. But Cal does know a way. The original seal was made with family blood. It requires more or less a sacrifice. And if someone's gonna do this sacrifice, if someone is gonna become the seal, Magik says that someone is gonna be her. And as they bind him, as they prepare to do this ritual, Cal jumps in. Cal refuses to let Magik sacrifice herself. After just being freed, he refuses to allow her to become corrupted again. And so he jumps in the way, and we see him take in this entity. When all is said and done, Cal sacrificed himself, but the way that Danny sees it, he only wanted to protect Magik. That the reality is one that you ignored because you were so focused on your own battle. This kid needed a mentor, not someone to blindly follow after. That she's gonna take Cal back to HQ society. But this seems to be a breaking in a friendship. Danny says that she's been fair, that she's been supportive, but leadership means putting the needs of others above your own. That you can't keep acting alone and running in blind. That's what picks us up later. We pick up at X-Men HQ in Alaska. We pick up at the factory. Cyclops wakes up, sees that she's in here just sobbing her eyes out, and he tries doing the Cyclops pep talk, but it doesn't really work because Magik says that she really messed up this time. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. So far, the first 5 issues have been a lot of fun. Just in 5 issues, we've seen huge character growth for Magik. Finally accepting that Darkchild is legitimately a part of her. That this monster inside of her isn't some demonic being. It is her. This is her defense mechanism, called into action whenever Magik truly needed it. And you've tried for so long to suppress me that we have become out of balance. That if you accept me, if you accept yourself, we can finally be one and you can reach your true potential. And that seemingly is what happened. Now, when it comes to Danny Moonstar, I don't know, man, that felt really out of left field. Like this whole time, Danny Moonstar has been sitting here trying to help her out, trying to help her find her way back because Cal decides to sacrifice himself, which was entirely his choice. Somehow Danny blames this on her and not anything else, saying like the kid needed a mentor, not someone to blindly follow. But Magik literally said, I don't want the kid around. He's gonna get in the way. He's gonna get hurt. He demanded to follow her. So I don't know if it's really making sense that Danny is blaming Magik for what just transpired. Like that kid, he knew exactly what he was doing, he knew exactly how he was doing it, and there was no doubt in his mind, whether he wanted to protect Magik or not. This was in no shape Magik's fault that he took this entity into him. And I do believe that it is completely unfair of Danny to be acting this way. But it does seem like Magik and Moonstar, their friendship has never been more divided. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel, liking the video, hitting the notification bell, because the next issue, we are gonna see the fall of Limbo, the embassy in New York City. Madeline Pryor is about to have her hands full. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel. Make sure you like the video. With that being said, until the next breakdown.